Good afternoon, everyone. This is another one of my President's videos, and I have a guest with me today. I have a faculty member. This is Tammy Zimmer. She is an English instructor, and I can tell you this, I called her earlier today, and I said, Tammy, you should feel really lucky today. How about we make a video? And I was shocked. Usually when I do that, the individuals will say, Dr. Illich, can you give me a couple of days? But Tammy said, perfect. I will make one with you this afternoon. So what I'd like to start with, Tammy she's relatively new. She's been here since 2017. And that even feels a little new to me since I've been here since 2014. But Tammy teaches a number of things, English comp and creative writing, literature, and a couple of other things she can tell us about. But welcome, Tammy. And I also wanted to point out that one of the reasons why I want to make this video with you is that you just moved into the new facility, the Academic Excellence Center in Beatrice. You teach us in Beatrice. So tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do at SEC and maybe how the new facilities are impacting what you do in the classroom and whatever else you want to talk about.
All right. Well, I hope that you're here for a long lecture on feminist ideology. Just kidding. That's not what I'm going to talk about. So I'm Tammy Zimmer. Like you said, I teach English, but I teach across. So I teach developmental, composition, literature, and creative writing. So I stay pretty busy, have quite a few preps. And as Dr. Illa just pointed out, I am coming to you from my brand new office in Beatrice. So we were supposed to move in the fall, but because of COVID, in the spring, we were able to move into the Academic Excellence Center. And it's been fantastic so far. One of the biggest upgrades in my own sort of personal work life is I'm able to have these lovely windows right out front. So I'm able to see students passing by, and it's always lovely. You know, my old office didn't have any windows or anything like that. And when you see a student who you had last semester who stops by and asks you, how's it going? You know, these are the kind of interactions that I really enjoy. But my office isn't the only new thing about the Beatrice campus. The office is definitely a perk, but we also got brand new classroom facilities. And so teaching in the new rooms has proven obviously a new challenge because I'm learning some new technology, but it's also definitely broadened our horizons. So Dr. Illich, have you been in the new classrooms? I know you were down.
Oh, I have. As you know, I had a Path to the President kind of open forum for several hours earlier this week. And Tammy was there along with several other faculty members, and I had a couple of students. It was a really nice day. I got to spend some time with folks I haven't met before, so that's always wonderful. I went into the classrooms. I went in the health science-based space is incredible on the third floor. The biology, chemistry, and other science lab spaces is amazing, and then all of the kind of multi-purpose interactive classrooms are incredible.
Yeah.
Since you brought that up, and you and I had talked about this earlier, that one of the great things about the new facility is that, you know, when students graduate, whether they go onto a four-year institution or they go directly into the workforce, there's going to be an expectation that they either already understand certain technologies or they're able to be comfortable with the technology and figure out the technology. And I think we're really challenging those students with the really sophisticated technologies we have in those classrooms. So tell us about that.
So they're definitely state of the art. My favorite room is AEC 231, and it is a distance learning room. We're making sure that when students come on tours, I notice when I'm teaching in there, they always bring them by, and it's because that room is so incredible. As you know, we're teaching on Zoom right now, and the beauty of this room is that it meets the needs right now of our students, but it's also going to meet the needs of our students in the future. So there are cameras in the room, integrated into the room, that can face either the front of the room or the back of the room. In the ceiling, there's microphones that can pick up everything you're saying. There's also a microphone, a wireless microphone that you can attach, like a lapel mic, so students can hear you while you're giving a lecture. Um, it's just this amazing room. There's large televisions literally on every wall except for the back wall. Students sit right next to a television. You're able to set up these rooms to where you're presenting on every single television if you're having more of a lecture heavy day or if you wanted to show a video. But there's also these opportunities where students can use either an HDMI cable or a wireless technology, so that they can actually bring up what's on their screen and show the class. So I know in one of my classes, before we started reading a book, we did a little bit of sort of in-class research, looking up the historical contexts of both the writer and the book itself. And everybody pulled up different websites, different videos, and we were all in the moment sharing with one another what we were coming up with. And the students were able to kind of, instead of, I very easily could have made a PowerPoint and told them the historical context as I saw it, but I was giving the students the opportunity to explore those things. And it became like a sharing moment where we were all, I kind of already knew the historical context, but they got excited in sharing what they were learning with their other students. And the TVs in the room made it possible for them to show pictures of the author, to show pictures of the setting as well, since it is based on a real place. And so that was a really incredible moment where, I kind of shifted my thinking. I could have told them what to think about the novel, but instead it became this engaged thing that we were able to do. So these rooms are just incredible.
Well,
And oh, go on.
didn't mean to interrupt you, Tammy. The one thing that caught my attention when you were talking about how, when we're talking about building facilities, we're really talking about building an enriched, engaged experience. It's not about the building, but it's about the opportunities it creates. In our vision statement, one of my favorite lines from the vision statement, and I can say it's one of my favorites because I think I actually wrote it.
Sure.
I'm a little bit biased there, but wrote it with lots of eyes on it and feedback. But one of the things that I really like, a couple of different things, but in our vision statement, it talks about we strive to be a national leader in developing high contact technical and academic experience through personal and sincere relationships with engaged and invested faculty, staff, and administrators. And so it's that word engagement and high contact, and it's not just technical, it's academic, it's every part of what we do. That's what I think we're trying to create with these really special spaces. But the other thing that caught my attention in what you were saying was, me, I'm always going to mention goal 9.6.
I mean, bring it on, I'm ready.
All right, so 9.6 says maximize a positive, engaging organizational environment by encouraging input, reflective, and transparent communication and compassion and respect toward the views and ideas of others. And you just made the statement that you could have told the students what you knew to be the historical context of a particular novel, but instead you gave them an opportunities to do a little bit of their own exploration. Then they shared it out with each other. And my guess, it's common in many of the courses that you teach for students to challenge maybe some of what you're sharing about what the context is. And maybe it's common for them to challenge each other as part of the creative experience, whether it's irrespective of probably what course it is teaching. It sounds like that's just a really important part of literature and writing.
Yeah.
So is that a fair thought?
Definitely. I like to make the joke that one of the things that I love about my field, and one of the things that sort of keeps me up at night about my field, is whereas in math, there's a definitive, 100% correct answer. A lot of what we do is critical thinking, and, there isn't one correct answer to the historical context of a novel. And in fact, students brought forth ideas that I may have entirely overlooked if they hadn't brought it to my, attention. And that's kind of, I think, the beauty of engaged learning is um, there is some work of interpretation, and I definitely want to encourage that as well. Did that answer the question? Hopefully.
No, I think it did. I would
Okay.
challenge you a little bit on one thing you said, that uh, I, I, I have a lot of training in applied statistics, and I've taught
Fun.
statistics for years. Now, statistics is a form of mathematics that doesn't actually, rarely does it have an exact um, result. It's usually, there's a confidence interval associated, there's latent variables that you hadn't explored that might contribute to the variation in the whatever particular variable you're interested in understanding. So there's a lot of, um, I guess, gray area there. But
Sure.
anyways,
Okay.
I was just teasing you to see how you handled the challenge, see if you got defensive. But, I didn't see any defensiveness there.
No,
What I
I guess
saw was an inspiring curiosity, and I appreciate that.
what I was going to say is I will amend my statement and say generally in basic arithmetic, there is a correct answer.
I would think that's pretty fair.
Hey.
So what else do you want to share? This is kind of the Tammy show right now. So I don't want to overstep anything that you want to mention, but I really wanted everyone to, get a sense of what you think about how the new facility is in helping enhance the experience that you're having as well as the students. And then is there anything that you want to share in terms of what's your favorite concept that you teach,
Okay.
or anything else before we wrap this up?
Sure. So I was going to say one of the things that I haven't touched on that I think is going to really benefit our students. Not only do we have, we've got the instructors in great offices that they can have interaction with the students through the windows. We've got these great classrooms where we can do interactive learning and engage learning in ways that in the past we didn't have access to just because of the a whiteboard is limiting. And so the last thing that this building has that I'm so glad the designers included, and it's something that I don't even know I would have thought I needed until I have it, are these spaces where students can sit and study by themselves. There's tons of tables with comfy chairs where they can sit and work on things. There's high tables with stools right outside of the classrooms where students can kind of gather. And there's also these really cool pods that they have that have televisions on the wall. So there's kind of two kinds of televisions in the building. There's one for advertisements to kind of let people know what's going on campus. And then the other televisions are just open for students to use. And so theoretically, if I wanted to give students a group project, I will mention to them, there's these televisions in the hallway. They can hook to them using the wireless, just like they do in the classroom. And suddenly, instead of, 4 people gathered around one small laptop trying to do a PowerPoint presentation or whatever it is that they're working on, they're able to hook to that TV, gather around at a table, and look at that sort of all together. So those spaces, I haven't used them yet in my classes. I'd love to, especially, I'm worried about distancing because of COVID. So there's definitely going to be some possibilities once we're all vaccinated. And I don't want to say go back to normal because I don't know that there's some aspects of normality that I don't feel any need to go back to. But yeah, I think once we're sort of our in-person looks a little bit more normal, I definitely want to use those spaces a little bit more and get students out there and using those.
Well,
So,
I'm really happy that you brought that up. The another part of our vision statement, Tammy, that you just really hit upon it reads as follows: the college is dedicated to creating destinations, that's such a key word, and the highest quality learning climates through permanent, innovative, modern, virtually linked, sustainable and collaborative facilities and green spaces. And I think that's something that we've really been working on, not only with these new facilities, but just in general, with renovations, creating places that are destinations to our students. As you know, we serve a wide range of student populations, but we have quite a few students that are low income, first generation. We have students that may not have access to the type of learning spaces that might maximize their ability to grasp difficult concepts. You need to be inspired. You need to be able to concentrate. Then you need to be able to interact with folks. And so I think what you described was one of our goals of not only just that facility, but all of our new facilities and renovations. We want that. We want to create that inspiring destination. And I think we've done that in these new facilities. So, and it's great to hear how you've embraced these technologies, even though, as you pointed out earlier, there's an opportunity to maybe learn some new things that you didn't know. And it's going to take a little time.
Definitely.
But I appreciate you taking time with us and helping me make another one of my president's videos. So with that, anything else you want to share before we shut it down?
Let's see. Well, I'm the editor of Illuminations, and I'm always going to plug it because of COVID. We've had some difficulties with getting the word out, so I'm always trying to persuade people, force people, pull their arm to submit to Illuminations. So I know I always submit. We take prose, poetry, art, any kind of art. So whatever you're doing or making, I'm more happy to include it.
I think I had mentioned to you that one of the things I like to do is a stress relief sort of activity. And so the hobby I've been doing it for quite a long time is woodworking. But over the last couple of years, I've been doing some woodworking that utilizes live edge, tops and other types of pieces. And you had mentioned that could even be something that could be included.
You know how you can future date messages to people on Microsoft Outlook? I may or may not have already set up a message that's in my draft folder for a couple of months closer to the due date for submissions that's going to send to you automatically to remind you to send me those pictures.
Okay.
Because I loved you showed me a giraffe table, and I thought that was so creative and awesome that you did for the zoo. And I was like,
so what's the category if someone wanted to submit that sort of woodworking? What is that called?
I'd put it, so there's a couple different sections. There's art, and then there's writing, and the writing usually falls in poetry or prose. And I would put that in the section with all of the other art. So like visual art.
Perfect.
So
all right. Well, Tammy, you have been awesome. It was great to meet you for the first time earlier this week, and now we've met a second time.
There you go.
So with that, let's say bye to everyone. And
bye, everyone.
Great rest of their afternoon. Thank you. Take care.
You too. Bye-bye.